Greetings, my good people. Of course, my name is Victor, and this is It's Victor Rono speaking. As I promised yesterday, we were going to do the Q&A session on camera. So I sampled a few questions that you asked me, and I'm going to respond to them. I have them on my sticky note over here. So yeah, I've sampled them because there were those ones for what's your crush, who are you dating, who are you looking to date. I mean, I think I'm way past that. I'm getting too old for that. Yeah, so I'm going to be straight on this. So the first question will be, what is the one thing that people misunderstand about me? Yeah, I think from this year I've been more of a church person. So the crowd that we used to really hang around, they no longer see me out there. So they're having a lot of questions. So I don't really understand if I should explain to them or not, but they really misunderstand me because they think it's a period, which I promise it will not be. It's been a whole lot months so far, so it's not going to be that. I think that is the one thing. So they're either confused about my current hobby of going to church and my other hobbies that I used to do zamani. But you continue being misunderstood like that when you choose a path that is not wide, path that is narrow. So it is like that. So I think one of the things is people misunderstand me for going to church and being strict with it, being straight with it, and diligent with it. But I'll be straight with it. I'll forever do it. The feeling that is in there, I can never find it out. So sold out. The next question is biggest failure and what I learned about it. Biggest failure and what I learned about it. The biggest failure, if you ask me, me, I'm an only son, to say. So I try to create brothers in every guy friend I have, and most of the time it has really messed me up, because I put my expectations here, I go extra, but I expect the same because I really wished for a brother, but Mungu ni nani, so probably my son will give me that, and one of the things. But it's not my fault, it's not like my failure, but my failure is a part whereby it's the part where I really put more energy into someone that is really not, or rather brothers that I perceive they are brothers in my head, but they are not. And one thing I've learned about it is, if they are not your blood, don't go extra. So these days, I just do the bare minimum when it comes to friendships. Unless it's my folks and what? Me friendships is just the barest minimum. Another thing, it is what you want to be remembered for. There's been the talk of having big money, chasing the bag, and being able to live your best life with money and all that. I don't mind the money, of course, but what I want to be remembered for is the guy that gave you a good vibe, that changed your mindset, because everything is set in the mind. So I want to be the guy who changes your mindset, and I want to be the person who lives up to full potential, as in my purpose, in my everything, all rounded. I want to live the fullest part, the side of my life, the fullest face of my life. That is what I want to be remembered. I want to be remembered as a guy who beat the fear, who actually influence your mindset and influence my own mindset to do the greatest that I could never achieve. Because the greatest people come out of really good mindsets and good potentials, mentality. Change mentality, I think I want to change your mentality. That's why I have the Show Up For Yourself campaign. And it's about me when I say it's Victor Rono speaking, because I know I can speak. So I'm going to exploit that potential back at street and peleka wapi. Let's wait and see. The next question is the biggest compliment you always get. Biggest compliment I always get is, I don't know if I should say this. People think ever since I was a child, people think I think I have that face, but I'm not sure I have it. So it's not, I don't want to really beat my kifua and all that. So I will pass this one. So biggest compliment I have mostly is that, and one of the biggest compliment I overheard, nobody ever told me directly, is that, hey, me I'm hungry for success. Mbaya, I'm hungry to do it. I never understand, unless it's not a relationship and emotional things, I never take a no for an answer, as in, these are things that I can be achieved. So the biggest compliment I would say, the face and my hunger for success. That hunger for success, nakwanga na push flani from inside. That's why I even start these things. doesn't look like it should. A lot of people have opinions about it, but I still do it. So if it's a compliment, so if it's not, I'm not sure if I've answered correct. If you go back to being 18, what would your advice be to yourself? If I go back to 18, what is the thing that I would advise myself to do again? If I go back to 18, I think if I had started this picking stuff at 18, manze, how many years has that been? Because I always knew, as much as we didn't have cameras good enough for this, I think there's that part of me that used to fear a lot of things, used to fear how people are going to say, things people are going to say about me. So I never really had a chance to really exploit full potential, because I would always fear what people will say. But at my age right now, that is what I would really advise myself. And go, if you want something, go for it at 18. I'm not saying I'm too old, but it would have been a bigger step if I had done it earlier. But it's still not too late. We will still do it. So that is the biggest. And hanging around people that really were not productive. No hate, no nothing. But I think I would have really not. I'm not saying I'm hanging around with anyone at the moment, but I'm just saying I would really have cut down on a few things. But what is life if you don't experience? People who influence your life, people who really influence my life and decisions. First thing first, these are my parents, my mom and my dad. They really influenced me. Let me just tell you, my dad came out of a really hard place to get to where he is, and that guy feels cool, yani. That guy is so calm. Yeah, I mean, there might be a situation that I'm really scared about, but he's calm, as in he pulls those lines of calmness, and I wonder, as in, what is in your head mpaka unakuwa calm, and then eventually it works out. He acts like I knew it, That is one person that influences my life, and he had achieved so much at his age. He worked in places that at his age and during that era, it was quite commendable, and he's a sharp guy. So he influenced, as in, at worst, if it doesn't work, let me get the bare minimum of his brain. Bare minimum, that is the influence. Another one is also, I think, my mother. My mother is a hard worker. My mother is a go-getter. My mother has never taken a no for an answer. She has done everything she can for us. As much as in me, I think I never asked for anything na nikakosa. As in, kama sikukosa, there was an explanation, of course. But at least she's done so much. She's done so much for us that I really admire that. There's that song that says, and someone was telling her mom, the mom was telling her, I wish you can never turn out like me, but that lady was telling her that if she can only be like her in terms of spirit, in terms of being a go-getter, in terms of taking care of her own, that is the spirit. So that is my influence, basically. I don't, that's why I really go home most of the time, so that I never forget that. Every time you sit in a room and you see them, that is the biggest influence I could ever need. You guys needed me to say Beyonce, Jay-Z, sijui nani, all your successful icons. Sorry, it's in my house. My influence is in my house. Favorite trip that I've ever had in my life was when I was in what is your favorite trip? My favorite trip was in tukiwa campus 4th year. There was a trip to Mombasa, my guy. You can imagine, from Eldoret to Mombasa, and we were college kids. Not even, at that time we didn't have really money to say we were chasing women. So we were about a boys club. We were like 4. I don't know where those guys went. Somewhere, as in they're just in between here. Another one had some rasta and all that. So imagine a trip. One came with a drink, mzinga. Others what? Imagine we did a lot of things. I mean, that was one of the best trips. And from Eldoret to Mombasa is like a whole day. We started at 9, we ended up in Eldoret, in Mombasa the next day around 9ish, 10ish there. So you can imagine the craziness that was in between here. And then we stopped at Naivash, we stopped at Nakuru for a meal, added on the bucket. There was somewhere huko Ukambani, we stood again to one day. I mean, I was under 22 because I graduated before 22 or 22 is there. So it was such a it was such a trip, you know. By that time nikitoka, alafu there's one of the lecturers who alinipata nikifanya a wrong thing akachukua what I was carrying. So the entire so it meant I had a disciplinary case by the time I was coming back. But it never happened because they understood us. You know, our small brain thought we were in high school, but they were mature people. After that, akanambia, wewe, you had fun. Kama kuna mtu have fun in that trip was you. And that is the best trip because I was not thinking about bills, I was not thinking about saving, I was not thinking about work the next day. All I had to do was just show up and then give them the money and just have fun. Imagine, from Eldoret to Mombasa. You can imagine. And then we had a beach moment, all those things. I mean, my camera went off, my phone of course went off, so I was left with at least 2 questions. After that, we went to biggest challenge at work. I think over time it's something that it's not on a specific job, it's something that I've been dealing with for a while, you know. I'm an emotional being, you know. And apparently I found myself in the finances organizations most of the time, and telling the truth sometimes to these people about money, it's a hard thing because when they look so cute and then you have to tell them the truth, it's really hard, but it's something that we have to do, you know. With finances, people play out here, and how they look sometimes is not translating direct to how they directly translate to how they handle their pockets. So it's one of those things. And also, if you have, I think I'm raised by a mother in business, and I mean SME. So it's your business like a ball in business. SME, small medium enterprise. Yeah? So sometimes having to deal with women who are like that, I will always remember from my mom when I'm dealing with a customer, and it gets something that I really find hard sometimes, but it's something that we deal with. So, but the truth is really important when you're handling a customer, so you should always keep that. Whatever you say, they'll appreciate you for saying the truth, and don't be emotional when doing these things. Yeah, so one of the things I've really been hard with me is having to say those truths, but they have to be said anyway. The last one was my favorite shows. What are my favorite shows? I think I get slow with movies these days. I don't really watch a lot of movies, if you ask me. I do a lot of YouTube shows. So for me, Ikonini is currently my favorite. Ikonini TV show, and Abel Mutu, of course, from all headline hitters to Young and Stupid to those stories of life. I really check up on what they've posted on a daily and then I come and watch it badai. And the last one is how can I go and severe them na sijisifu hapa. Favorite show is Victor Arono speaking. That's why I do it every day, and I hope it grows. So see you guys. It's been a cool afternoon. Wacha niendelee kuonaona ma location. Thank you. Bye.